There's so many beautiful quilt patterns out there that there's not enough time in the world to paint them all. And I never get time to paint one. I just like to paint because I'm too busy doing customer orders. But welcome. Everybody else out there, hi. We're just waiting for 8:30 to get here and everybody come on board. I'm Talera. And I guess some of you might wonder where I get such a strange name from, but my family, I'm the oldest of 5. It's Shannon Talera, Tony Shane, Tarek Sean, Sidra Tabitha, and Shadia Tyler. And we go by Terry, Tyler, Tabby, Talera, and Tony. And my daughter is Chanel Tiffany. And then I had a son that came along, and his name is AJ, and it stands for something probably not pretty nice, Junior. But my mother did, and his dad did put Alexander Joshua on his birth certificate. So, but I'm glad everyone has joined me, and I hope this helps. I get so many messages throughout the day, which I welcome anytime. I try to stay as connected to social media as possible through Facebook and Messenger. I don't do Instagram. I don't do Pinterest. I don't do Etsy. I have my website and live chat on it or through this resource. So we'll wait for a few more to join me. Anyone out there, say hi. Let me know you're there, whether you've got the book or not, if you have any questions. And I'll give just a few more seconds for a few more to join us. But I'm Talera. This is my world I live in, my little studio, which is my 4th bedroom for the moment. I am working on a she shed that I'm moving in my studio too. So thank you so much to anyone that has ordered the book. It was a lot of work to put it together, and I hope it has helped several of you out. But I got my copy today. When you self-publish, you're able to order it and receive your copy, and it takes, for whatever reason, you can get yours pretty quickly, but I had to wait 3 weeks for mine. But it come today, and for you that have not ordered it, it is full color, 8.5 by 11. It's 370 some pages, and it's pretty awesome. So I was very pleased with the outcome of it. And hold on just a moment. My daughter is texting me. And this here is the finished product of the complete resource guide. There's 3 other versions. I broke it down to beginners, an intermediate, and advanced patterns. It's much less expensive to order the whole thing, and I'm sorry for the cost involved because I don't set the pricing, and I only make about $5 a book, so I'm not making any killing here. But the book itself here, and I'll do my best to show it to you here, is chock full of information about me, and then I go into detail about all the products that you use. Okay? I hope you can see this. I'm an amateur here at the camera. Paint brushes, and then it gets into how I present patterns to customers. If you're doing them commercially, or if you're doing them for yourself, you want to see how a pattern lays out with different colors, it goes into that. Then it goes into what colors to choose, how to choose your colors. If you're working with a customer, what I have found to be great questions to ask your customer, because sometimes they don't know what they want, they just know that they want. So I give some full color examples here of some I've done. This is my mom's, her hummingbird. This is one of my favorites I've ever done. I did this for a beagle breeder. My son is an Auburn fan, so I did that one for him. This was a Christmas gift for a firefighter. This is my personal one that I did for my she shack, or bee barn, whatever we're going to call it, but my future studio. And then this was one I did, which is a great way to put 3 patterns together, and this is hanging in a cabin behind a dining table for a couple. So it goes into that. Then I included some images of different ways that people have featured my barn quilts, whether it be a front porch. This is my building I'm working on. Indoors, this is a beautiful way to have one featured indoors. Front porches are great. Then it goes into, let's see here, pattern basics, how to choose the right pattern for the right area, what size to use, what size to select for a certain area. That's really important because I don't want to put a lot of time and effort into this 4x4 barn quilt that's going to sit on a barn that's got a 12 by 8 foot wall out in the middle of a field, and it's very detail oriented, and from 200 yards away from the road where most people are going to see it, you can't see all the work that's in it, and it's so less is better. But if I was doing that for a front porch or interior space or a building you would see close up, sure, go with a more detailed pattern. But that goes into all that. And trust me, nothing here is tried and true. This is just what works for me. So then I go into, if you've watched any of my YouTube videos, I go into how to draw a pattern off without drawing that grid. Because there's nothing worse than drawing that grid out and then having to go back and erase lines, and the lines bleeding through once you put the sealer on, and then you're disappointed. Not to mention all the time it takes and how confused you can get drawing a pattern off. Skip that grid drawing, and the book tells you how to do that. It goes through all the steps of that. And then I have a list of patterns that are in the book and the page number. I have put in here that they're whether a beginner, what I consider to be a beginner's pattern, or an intermediate, or an advanced. How did I base that? Well, I sort of based that on the amount of colors, or the way you could lay it out, the dimensions that may be a little difficult to calculate or figure, or the angles. Or how busy a pattern is. So there's several different things, and some things I may put in here as an intermediate pattern. You may look at it and say, wow, that's a beginner's pattern. In the beginner's book, I did include 10 or 12 of the intermediate patterns, because they're ones I couldn't really decide whether it was a beginner pattern or a more advanced one. So that lists all that. But now let's get to the good stuff. For every pattern in the book, okay, I laid out, and I laid this out so if you're working you can lay it like this, and this is how, once you get to this part, you'll utilize the book. It gives you many different color layout options for a particular pattern. And I think this is the 8-point or 8-point Fancy Star, and then I show you how to lay it out. And I give you the dimensions for either a 2-foot barn quilt, 3-foot, or 4-foot. But it's easy to take this application and apply it if you're doing a 6-foot or 5-foot or 8-footer. And then this is what I've done for every pattern. And I'm just flipping through this, giving you some options. This is the one I showed you back in the beginning. So you have some great inspirational, and I'm just thumbing through here at random, some great inspirational pieces that you may think, oh, I want to paint that. Trust me, in going through this, I want to paint just about every one of them. But like I said, I never have time to do my own. So I try to stick with traditional patterns. Some people have said, well, today I had somebody ask me, well, is this pattern in your book? Well, it's in my book, but it's called something else. So, pattern names change so much. I hope y'all are enjoying this. But making sense. Let's see here. I also have included, if I can find some in here, some original patterns. Original being patterns that I have come up with that, let's go back here to find some. Yeah, let's see. I'm getting ready to paint this one. This is definitely one of the, what I would consider an advanced pattern. So, but it's in there. If I have picked up along the way anyone else's work, I'm sorry if I've recreated and shared it in this book, or that's not my intentions of stealing anybody's work at all. This here is an original pattern. It's what I call Cactus Rose. And there is several different images of different ways it can be laid out. But this pattern is a little more advanced too. So I have noted in there if it's an original pattern or not. And you are welcome to copy any of them that you'd like. You know, give you some ideals. And if anybody has any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. So, I love this pattern. I'd love to be able to paint it. It's called Victorian Star. But no time in my schedule. So when you paint one out of this book, please share it and tag me in it, because I'd love to see what it looks like actually painted. And then in the end of the book, I have got I left you a page where you can write down the images that you want to do. Keep track of that. I've also listed 2 columns where you can write down your paints that you're using. I suggest always, if you're going to use Ransom Red, you stick with Ransom Red. You keep track of it, and that way you can also, you know, go back and get more colors mixed. I do not mix my own paint colors. I buy the sample paints. Okay, and then I left a page for notes and a couple pages back there so that you can make notes. I am available here again. It's a nice full color, glossy, 8.5 by 11. I double or space and a half printing, so it's easy to read for us blind people, and I am one of those blind people. I include product list, also tips, for instance, colored pencils. Put in there why I use them, and then the tip is always mark lightly. This way, if you have to erase, you have to, it's much easier. And also, if you start marking out a barn quilt and you're doing measurements and you have to change colored pencils, that way you don't get confused on what your marks are. If I was marking in purple, I'm not next time marking in red. Okay, so, and then fabric transfer paper, how it's used for barn quilts. I showed someone the other night how to do that. Don't know how you can live without a Lazy Susan. Frog tape, trim, of course your MDO wood. Some of you use plywood, which is perfectly fine if it works for you. Whatever works for you, keep doing it, because it, you know. Floetrol, that's a product that I use and highly suggest. Finishes, how to apply the clear coat. So, all this is in the book. If you go to barnquiltheadquarters.com, which is my website, you can go to the Artist Resource tab, and be able to order any one of the four different books. I no longer have my ebook up, and I tell you why. I did the ebook, and I had 411 people that downloaded the ebook. Thank you, I appreciate it, but I earned zero on the ebook. Nothing. It's free to users. The authors do not get any royalties off of it whatsoever, and I put so much work into this that, I mean, $1 a version would be awesome, but nothing. I just can't do that, so I've took the ebook down. But this makes a great Christmas gift. Put it on your list. Please share it with fellow artists. And I hope you enjoy it. I'm very proud of it, and I will let you know when the second book next year comes out. It's going to be answer more questions people may have, if any, but it's definitely going to be full of patterns and color combinations, because I love doing the design work. Painting, I do it because, well, that's my livelihood. But I could skip the painting. I do miss Susan, my old friend who used to paint them after I designed them. So I hope everyone's staying safe out there. Staying in. If you're staying in quarantine, I hope you have plenty of paint and plenty of wood. And good luck for everyone out there that is doing this as a business. It is definitely growing by leaps and bounds every month that goes by. I right now have 60 on order. At one time I had over a year's worth on order, but I don't ship anymore because it cut down on my orders. I also closed my retail studio that was in the local town, and it's cut down on my orders because I'm a grandmother and I have to go see my grandkids and I have to spend time with them, and I need a break every once in a while. But I'm always available 24/7. I'm here to help, and thank you so much for watching tonight, and thanks so much for those that have purchased and all the positive reviews and support, and happy painting. Good night.